good afternoon. Welcome back to our tutorial series. So, this afternoon we'll continue with our car booking application that we have started last week. So, just a recap, last week we were able to finish this part. This is the car booking application using unit of work and generic repository design pattern. So, this is part 2. So we created initial ad booking, and then I think you have to watch this part two, and also the part one, which is we started the project creating the actual database using migration processes like that, and registering the containers or services, dependency injection in the controller, creating the generic repository, and also the unit of work. So this afternoon, we'll continue with our car booking application. So what we are going to do is this is a simple application that will allow the staff in the company to assign or reserve a car. So just basic. So we are going to develop a ASP.NET Core Web API because we are going to make it like a microservices that a lot of clients, depending on what language, what front-end languages they will use, can utilize this, or it can be used in a mobile application. So after we finish this backend program or web API, then we proceed with the client application, the consumer of our car booking application. So basically, guys, it's just a recap. We already have our repository for the booking info. Yeah, so this is the booking info repository. But of course, we have the generic repository, this one. So this is all for the entity. That is why it's generic. It could be type of booking info, car or drivers. And of course, we define already our iCar booking info. So this one, I already added some signature here. So before this is just a booking in a collection. And now I added two signature here of type booking view model. So why I added here, I just want to make it centralized or make it abstraction from the calling program or the web API. So basically, this is not a booking info entities, but it's a combination of one or more entities. That is why I created a booking VM view models. So if you can see here, I have a view models folder inside models. This is the booking view model. Booking view VM class. So basically, we have properties from the booking, and we have properties also from the drivers, like this, and call center like that. So it's a combination. Okay, so as you can see here in the implementation, guys, in the booking info repository, as you can see, I have already the check driver method. So basically, the check driver method is will just return a booking information. We have a parameter of start date, end date, and the driver ID, and of course the car ID. So it's just so easy. You can just have to uh, use the, of course, that context that is being passed here, and then of course the entity booking info is already there, so you can just have aware then this is your lambda expression to search for the booking info, which is the end date is greater than start date, and the CV end date is lesser than end date, and the driver ID is equal to driver that being passed, and the car ID is the car ID that is being passed to this, and this it will return a list. Okay, so later on in the web API we can have that. So this is the function. We just break it so we can have a breakpoint here. So we will debug. Okay, Then another function that I have, so basically in our interface of the booking info, this is the two signature that's being added. Okay, so all of these three signature is just specific to this booking info interface. But because we are inheriting the iRepository interface of type booking info, all of the signature in the iRepository will be also available. Like if you want to get, of course, we pass the booking info as entity, so we are getting to that entity. Okay, get all, find async, add, address, remove all like that. So it's already part of it because we inherit the iRepository. And then, of course, if you are wondering why in our iRepository there is no saving, how could we save to the actual database or there's no updating? That is because we are using unit of work. So we have the interface unit of work, and then the complete async is the one who will do all the job in saving, updating to the database. So a unit of work is one or more transaction is treated as a single tra- transaction. That is what we call unit of work. So if you can see in the code, it's not repeated in all uh, entities or in all of these entities. There, we don't have the repetition of methods to get all, find, save, update, delete like that. It's not here, actually. So it's in our repository, and it's the good news is that it's generic, so you can pass whatever entities you are going to use. All right. So that's generic repository and unit of work. So in that is all signature or the interfaces, but of course when you implement it, this class, right? So implement collection. So in your calling program, you can just get this collection and you can also filter out there because that is enumerable. So it will support iteration of what type the booking info. Okay. So another method that you have added, this is using of type booking VM. So this is the view model that I just shown you earlier. So read by user. So read by user will have a parameter user ID, business ID, and role. Okay. So of course, it will get data from different entities or table. That is why I have created here a link to SQL. So it's just like join in the SQL, TSQL, joining two or more tables. So here the query, this is the variable, which is we are calling the booking input tables here. Of course, this is the doc context is our connection to the entity framework or the class that were created to connect to the SQL server, right? So we'll join the dr variable, which is the driver, on the driver ID is equal to driver ID into big E. We just put it variable into big E driver, and then from so dd in driver the default if empty. So if empty, it will just give you the default. And join the cars and this joining, alright. And also join the cost center. And of course, from the wiki cost center, where that and the booking status is book or status is assigned. So this is reading the booking, which is assigned to the user, and so it will return a new booking VM here. So this is the return type booking VM. So basically, the model in our view models, you just assign it from here. Okay, that's the way. And then there's a seeking here. If role equals to 1, it's going to see admin. It will return all bookings for our user. Okay, although we can have another implementation of what we call here identity system where you can define roles like that. But this one, we are just putting it in the code. We are passing the role. So if it is one, which means to say it's an admin. So it can query all of the user. If the user is not admin, he can just query by his user ID. Okay, and then we return the booking. Okay, that's one method that we implemented. All right, so we okay, we will debug. So later on, we put breaking points there. There's a breaking points there. Oh, why? A breakpoint not inserted in this action. What? Why it's a top. I just put it here. Okay. Let's minimize this guys and let's take a look what are other methods that we have created. I think for now this is the only method. And we go to our booking controller or the booking with API controller. Of course, this list is already done last in the last video. Create to allow you to create a booking. This one search booking filter by user ID. We just added it. So as you can see, this is get and the URL will define user plus the user ID and the BC user ID and CB ID. So it will just return what we have discussed. Okay, the find user, we can see that this is async because this is asynchronous by just following the good naming convention. But in the URL, this is only find by user because we added here. Okay, search booking by start date and end date. So basically, this one we are just getting directly to the collection. So there's a collection, the booking info. You can just have where. So there's no class or implementation anymore. This is already in our API controller. Okay, so we're able to get the collection, then we apply the filtering. Right, so that's so easy. So this is the taking of driver. So we have that the take driver that we just discussed in the earlier. So this is the method that will check. So basically, this is going to the booking info and search that filtering like that. Right, so we'll take a look on that in this. Then this one is the update. So that's is FTP put and of course our name update booking async, but then the URL it should be update only. So first we have to do we have variable here found. You need to work booking info that collection because we have a collection signature there that will return a variable of the booking info. So we'll filter where this is our filtering and if not null, so we just replace, for example, CV start date, replace with the value in our booking. And then after replacing all the needs or the fields that needs to be updated, we just call unit over complete async. That is the saving to the actual database. Alright, so that's very abstracted, so you cannot find it. You just find it in the if you go there, it's just in the unit of work class. So it's received the DB context is received here, and then it will just say save changes assigned. Okay, this method will automatically call Microsoft Entity Framework for change tracking. Okay, so that's it. And then what other methods we have? We have assign driver. So this one we are calling also the collection and then just This is like updating, right? That's tipo HTTP port updating. Okay, so we try to debug this and let's see if it works. And I have opened here already our database. Let's check what are the records. This is the car booking. So if you have not watched how to create the database by migration, you can watch the part one. So this is the booking info. So if we start it now, we only have two information, two booking. Okay, so let's try to add. Even if you also use the endpoint, which is the car API booking list. So if you try that out, then you execute, it should have returned two records only. So we got 200 and the records are, yeah, it has two records only. Then the other is to create. So if we create, we try to create to make it three. So we just try it out and we will pass the model values. So this is good for Swagger also because it will give you template, no? So this one CVID is this is auto generate. I mean primary key and auto. It will what's the name that's in the SQL? Auto incremented. Yeah, it's auto incremented. If you can just see here in the design, it's auto increment. So it's meant to say it will just add automatic ID, so you don't need to. Yeah, that is identity institution is identity incremented is true incremented by one. So we will not put it there. So for the start date, we just have to use this date. And for the stop, let's say we have to put here Edwin Delso, that's my name. Stop ID, just take it 101. And organization, this is Dave. And cost center, zero. Civic center, ID zero. Let's just pass it as it. And civic customer, let's just say Dave Allen. Passenger, let's have 10 passenger. And then the departure place is from Hong Kong. And I'm going to Shanghai or Central Hong Kong. Central Hong Kong. And then the car, this is the call center. Okay. Let's say driver name is David Wang, and description is visiting. Okay, the certificate. All right, guys. We get the data, and this is ID3. So if we check our database, we should have three booking info now. Okay, that's auto-generated three, and the staff is Adrian Deloso, staff number 101, organization. Customer is Dave Aldrin Deloso, the passengers, number of passengers 10, like that. Okay, let's go for the another one. For example, we have to now find user by ID. So we need to have an ID, CV ID, and CD ID. We try it out. Oh, there's a lot. It's required. User ID. So we'll take a look at the user ID here. I think no user is associated with the booking info. Okay, so we cannot try it. They have no user lead, and they just check it. It's run UID or but it will return an empty if there's no error because we cannot find the correct information, right? Just check if so it's going here, so let's check if what is returned. If the function is not functioning, I need to hold the function key. Okay, this query, it's okay. Oh, it's admin. So let's see the booking. It's 0. So we cannot get the information because some of the tables had no data yet. But at least we return or the code is working. But it just return an empty list. Okay. So that's it. An empty list is being created here. It's 200 success, but the response is an empty list. Alright. So next endpoint that we have is find booking, start date and end date. Okay. So we try it out. I think we have start date and end date here. So try unlock here. Start date and end date. So let's see. Start date is this one. Start date. Start date. Um, let's see. End date is this one. So it will return on record. End date. And execute. Okay. It's binds the collection and so so if query is count is return 0, it will just return 1. So it's when this is just a seeking, it's not returning data. Okay, so I think we will just look if there's a booking on that after the start date and end date. Okay, but you can see it's already returned the information, but we don't return, we return integer here. Just to check. Okay, so that's working. So let's continue with another method. Yeah, because I just following what's the implementation before, so I just put it here. Now, this one is the put to update the booking. So let's try out to update the booking. So because the model here, of course, the BCID is different. For example, we need to update this part. Uh, CID is 1. Okay, we need to process with the ID which is equals to 1. We'll update the booking info for 1. So if you can see here, the one, the CV stuff is string, so we need to update that to the real name. Uh, Stuff is string, so we need to put this Frankie Donkey. Frankie. Oh, what happened? Frankie P. That's it. So we just want to try if it will be updated, guys. So let's try to hit the execute. So it's going here to find the record, and if it found is okay, it's fine, and then it will update and async and true. Okay, so what we got here is this one body is true and success. And let's take a look on our database. If this is Frankie Donkey save stuff, it's not updating. So let's check our code if we are updating the stuff. So we are not putting the stuff here, so this one is not updated. Okay. Let's say the organization or customer. Let's say the customer because it's here. I'll try again. So if you need to update the civil stuff, you just add the assignment there. Okay, so that's one. Where's the where's our code is here is customer can be updated. Where's the customer here? Let's see. Where's the customer? This one is string CV customer. So the customer here is string, so we'll change it to Frankie, Frankie Donkey. Okay, that's one. I will try to execute if it changes. So as you can see here, okay, the customer should be now Frankie Donkey, and it will save. Let's go back to our database. If this change or updated. Okay, the customer now is updated. So our updating is working. So our searching. So now we are going to try to update the driver. Booking driver. Find booking. So this is the querying. Okay, we can have the data because the driver data has not done yet. This one assign a driver. We just try it out, assign a driver. So basically assign a driver is there's a booking and you just need to assign it to the driver. So let's say the booking is one, then we will assign it to where's the driver? The important one here is the driver name. Let's say for example this the uh, Russ. Let's see. And we'll take a look of our assign a driver code. It's already in the controller, so we are not putting it. Because basically, you can just this one, this one. So what we are, so we are just updating the car ID, driver ID. That's updated remarks status. So car ID. Let's see, this is one. It's been updated. Driver ID, status and remark. Driver ID. Let's see, this will be 10. Status or remarks. Let's see, remarks success and status as done. This meaning is already done. Okay. So we have to debug it. So just that. Turn on this. We found, so it's going to update. So see guys, it's working now. So it has 200 and it's successful, and we check our database. You can see here that the driver we are updating one, its status is done, CB remark is success. That's what we have updated. The driver ID. It's the driver ID here. So yeah. So that's for now, guys, for the booking information. So our web API is now for the booking is now ready. And in the consumer part, you just have to call this endpoint. For example, in the you can have the ASP.NET Core MPC or the Angular. So I would like to have a client Angular. So that will be in our next video after we can finish creating the other entities, for example, crude operation for the car, call center, driver, user type. It's just basically a crude operation and that's for admin only. So we can get the data for the joining data. Okay. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learn and happy learning again. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you will be notified and I will be inspired to create more videos that I can share and we will learn together. Okay. So once again, this is Edwin Deluso and our goal is to help it one another. Thank you.